good. All right, this is Something Real, real conversations with real people. Today, I'm joined by my father, Brian. I'm Charlie, and we're just going to talk to my dad about his YouTube channel and what's been going on with him and how he's been successful with that over the years. So, first thing that I wanted to ask you is if you could just give us the 10,000 foot bird's eye view of how you got over 100,000 subscribers, how you got over 130 million views on your videos. So I want to see what's the overview of that process?
I think, well, it starts with the core idea of it was, can I put something out there that doesn't exist yet that tells people something that they want to know as quickly as possible? So it started out, my first hit video, I had a motorcycle, a Royal Enfield. I still have it out there. It doesn't work, but I still have it. I got to do a series on that one. I got to do a big long series where you take it all apart. But that one, there was only one way to start it. And I bought it from a guy and I forgot. And so then once I went on the internet and figured out how to start it, I made how to kickstart this motorcycle video. And it all of a sudden started getting a lot of views. This is before you could just monetize your channel. So you had to have 10,000 views and a bunch of other qualifications on YouTube before you could ask them to monetize it. So that was something where everybody in India was commenting on the video like, oh my God, so much help, so good, so good. And then a couple of, you're doing it wrong. So,
yeah.
So I was creating something that was helping people do something. And then I applied for monetization and I was making $1 a month. Like, wait, if I make 1,000 videos, I could make $1,000 a month. And so it kind of started out that way. It was how can I tell people something that they want to know?
Yeah, and you said it almost came out of a frustration of not finding the information yourself, and then you're like, damn it, I'm going to show people how to do this because it took me, however long to find it myself.
Yep.
So like you said, you started out in the early days of YouTube. What's changed on the platform since you started? Like you said, you started before even monetization was really a thing. What else have you noticed?
I mean, it's always been, well, it's harder now to get a video to be a hit, I think. And the algorithm changes because I think so many people are trying to game it. Like you'll watch a video and it'll be an AI voice like, look at this bicycle. And those bicycles.
That's one easier way to get 1,000 videos, right?
Right. And so there's so much content out there that's over optimized that it's hard for YouTube to see which is the good stuff or which is the real stuff. And also I'll see now, I'll make a video, it'll get all of these views from suggested videos for 3 days. And this changes from time to time. But right now it's 3 days. I'm like, oh, this one's gonna be a hit, and then nothing. So they'll put it out suggested for 3 days. It'll get a good click-through rate, and then nothing.
So that's right after you put it out, or just for anytime?
No, 3 days after you put it out. So I put it out.
Okay.
It'll my subscribers will watch it, and then it'll get suggested to people, and then it'll just stop getting views altogether. So, I mean that's a very specific example that's happening right now. But the algorithm always changes.
Yeah,
it's kind of like back when I was doing SEO stuff for websites. Same thing there. You come up with a perfect keyword combination, you get ranked #1 now, but then Google reshuffle the algorithm, and then you got to come up with a whole bunch of different keywords or find out what was too dense, what was not.
Yeah.
So a lot of it, a lot of people focus on making the video, and then they'll put up a crappy, they don't put any text. Like it's just like, this is my bike.
Yeah, that was one thing you were always on that, right?
Yeah. That was, since you were a little kid, I would teach you that.
Yeah, and now, do you think it's also a factor of having more competition now? It's more of a mainstream thing? Because I mean, when you started, didn't you have to apply? I mean, how many things did you have to apply for? It wasn't just monetization, was it? Or
you could put up whatever videos you wanted, yeah. But if you wanted to get monetized, every video you wanted to monetize, you'd have to apply for it. And when I first started, 2009, they wouldn't let you monetize. They were running ads, and then when they introduced it, then you'd have to, every video you wanted to monetize, you'd have to apply.
Yeah.
But the other thing was I was shooting on videotape at the beginning and digitizing it onto a computer and then editing it on the computer, and so there was a huge barrier to entry. Whereas now I just use my phone.
Yeah.
Like any idiot with a phone can make something.
Yeah. Yeah. And then wasn't there also length limits way back in the day? Like you can.
There was 10 minutes.
10
yeah.
minutes.
Like some of that clutch and primary chain installation video for that Royal Enfield motorcycle I was talking about. Like jamming that into 10 minutes was almost impossible. I mean, the video is just horrible because it's like, oh, take the thing out, put the thing in, spin the thing, oil the thing, gaskets. But just cramming that into 10 minutes. And so back then you'd either do that or you'd do part 1, part 2.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, there were definitely time limits.
Yeah.
But my formula was always do it as short as possible. Still is.
Yeah, talking about your formula, I kind of wanted you to talk a little bit about your philosophy of YouTube and the way that you create videos, because I think a lot of people have a different approach. So if you could just talk about like the overall vision for your channel and like how your channel is successful, because I think it's a little bit different than everyone else.
It's very different. We have YouTube Spaces up here. There's a studio where you can actually rent studio time. Not rent, they just let you in there to make videos if you pass a certain test and talk to the lawyers. And so up there they'll teach you, like they're really focused on the channel being one stop for one thing. So like if I like bikes, it's like I only make videos about bikes and that's it. And bike people watch my bike channel. That's how most people do it. But what I do is just whatever's around. Like we bought these cups, right? Insulated beer mugs. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do a review video of that. And if it makes me 35 cents a month, then it pays for the insulated beer mug. So my channel is about whatever I'm doing. And so that's a weak point in terms of, my subscribers. Yeah, I might have 100-something thousand subscribers. I don't even know because, my videos, they don't watch my videos. People subscribe to be nice, but if you're trying to light the pilot light on your gas water heater and you subscribe to be nice and then you see that I'm making a video about, tightening the chain on your bike, they're not gonna watch that.
Right.
They're not that nice. They're nice enough to hit the subscribe button, but
they're not gonna give you that attention if something they don't care about.
So my philosophy is, rather than a channel philosophy, a lot of people have a channel philosophy. Like, this is my channel, this is my brand. People come here to whatever, if I'm making jokes or if I'm doing, hot rod cars. Most channels have one thing. That's their focus. And they'll move in and out of that thing, but it's usually, I want to watch this guy take Jeeps apart or something like that. So my philosophy is every video is its own individual thing and people find it and it has to do well on its own.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. And also, to be tied into one thing, it just wouldn't be efficient for my life.
Yeah. So if you could summarize the goal of your channel in a couple sentences, what would you say?
God, I can't. It's been so long since I looked at it because it's like
It's
motorcycles, cars,
videos,
and fun stuff or something. I came up with a dumb title for it, but I don't even remember what it is. But it would be just helping people solve problems, or I've gotten into reviewing things too.
Yeah.
And the Amazon links pay a little bit of money too. If that's $200 or $300 a month on somebody's like, hey, I want a beer mug. So they watch my beer mug video and then they go there, they buy
3%.
it, and I get 3% of the sale. Yeah.
Yeah.
On that's the cool thing about Amazon. You get 3% of the sale plus whatever else they buy.
Yeah.
So like when Antifa
Yeah,
stuff was happening, there was some people buying those fist things where you could throw a fist on the wall, and they're buying motorcycle flag jackets. And I'm like, oh man, I'm part of the resistance, or I'm on one side or the other. I'm just trying to sell mugs.
So how did you? So we're talking about, for people that don't know, we're talking about affiliate marketing. So it's basically a business will provide you with a specialized link or some way to track activity, and then you'll get a commission of sales. So can you talk about how you broke into that, and maybe talk a little bit about the e-bikes too?
Yeah. So that actually, I don't know, 8 years ago or something, the Amazon had an affiliate program back in the early days.
Yeah.
And then they got in some kind of fight with California. So I signed up for it back then, and the state of California for some kind of put some kind of tax laws on them. And so they said, okay, nobody in California can be an affiliate. So back then, a lot of people were actually leaving the state. Like people who were driving big traffic affiliately, they had to either move or fake move, set up a Nevada corporation, but they had to get out of the state. So I forgot all about that. And then at one point you came back from college for COVID and you're like, yeah, why don't you do affiliates? And I'm like, well, they're illegal in California. And I looked and no, they aren't. That law got overturned and I could do it again. And so you kind of talked me into doing that again. And then, going back over hundreds of videos and thinking, is there a product in there? Can I just link to something? Is there something? And then I always did product reviews. So I like to do good ones and bad ones, warn people or try to tell them something that's good. So just turning that on was an extra couple $1,000s a year.
Yeah, and then so that was just on Amazon, but you're now in a couple programs with these e-bikes, right? How did you break into that?
Yeah, I get solicited by people every once in a while. So I'll go into my emails and I'll just type in review, the word review, and search it and look at the emails. So I look at it and they're like, hey, we're making this cool bike. Do you want to get one? well, if I can keep it, sure. It looked like a little motorcycle. Watch my channel, you'll see it. So they sent me like a $2,500 e-bike. And then that video, the first e-bike video that I did happened to get thousands and thousands of views. So, I mean, like 600,000 plus now. And they gave me an affiliate link that I put in there, and so people are buying bikes. So in that case, so you get a bike that's worth a couple $1,000s. You probably made $1,000 on video revenue, and then selling the bikes, I'm at close to $4,000 in revenue on commissions from selling the bikes.
So that's only your commission, or
yeah,
wow,
yeah. So it's, I don't know, $70,000 or $80,000 worth of bikes people bought. So they're happy that I drove them customers and that I did the review. So they sent me another bike that's better, bigger, faster, and I did a review of that one. And so I've kind of, and then I met some guys that are local here that were at one of the fairs that have a local e-bike company, and they gave me one of their bikes. And it's been fun. Like when you want to go to the beach with your friends this summer, I mean, as friends, just grab the e-bikes. Only problem is you guys don't do maintenance or pay attention. Yeah. So I was riding one of them today, and all the spokes are loose, and the motor's going clickety clickety click.
We never ride that one though. That was nice.
So I made a repair video on that today.
But you just got into that just from them soliciting you with
Yes.
emails?
Yeah.
Oh wow. So
Yeah.
you didn't even really care about e-bikes before.
I mean, we built one, but
That's right.
But I wouldn't. No, it was just.
That was actually one of my more popular videos. That one back in the day.
Mine too. We made big money off of that. But no, this was just looking up if does anybody want me to review anything cool that I actually want to keep. And I don't know how they found me, but
What's been your experience in the e-bike community? Because I hear you talk about sometimes everyone's jealous of your success. I heard you have a lot of haters.
It's tough so this company's having trouble with the supply chain. So they're on their Facebook group, like no bikes were coming into the country because they were having problems with the tires and problems with customs and stuff. And so everyone's like, this bike is fake. Why does Brian have a bike? Nobody else has a bike. So I'm sure I could get a bike. And so people were, they were understandably angry. If I spent $2,500, let's say, on a bike, and they said, "I'll be here in September." October. It'll be here in November. They're fake. They don't exist. They're stealing our money. And so that's all kind of come around, and the supply chain has caught up. But I've kind of been an operative. Not necessarily. I haven't been on Facebook telling people lies or trying to get them to.
Well, it seems like
representing the company. But I'm just out here with a bike saying, "Hey, this is a real bike. Here it is. This is what it's going to look like." I had the first prototype of the new one in America. They airlifted it to me. Just like, please show them it's real. Go out there and ride it. And so that's where we got that second one. Was they airlifted it out of China for me to just represent that.
Yeah, because you have a personal relationship with the CEO, right?
Yes.
How's that experience been?
That's been good because I didn't know he was the CEO. He was just the only guy that would text me back. And so.
And was he the one that emailed you, or did you just get in contact with him after?
There was another guy that was in charge of getting all the affiliates together, and he never got back to me, so I thought I wasn't going to get to the bike. And then this CEO contacted me. He's like, "Hey, why don't you want to review our bike?" I'm like, "I do. I sent the paperwork. Here it is again." And then from there, I got the first bike, and the rear shock absorber was terrible. The tires were lame. And so, me doing my review, I said that. And I also upgraded the shock, put an air shock on it. That's, I think, the most comfortable bike we have. You would probably agree. You ride it more than I do. But, it just, floats, it handles. And so the CEO actually listened to what I said and what a lot of the other people on the forum said. And the new bike has a proper air shock on it. It's got big fat motorcycle tires that are a lot less pop. They're not going to pop, and they're better on the road. So that's the other cool part, was doing some product development. I wasn't expecting that. I thought, free stuff. Bang out a lazy video, and actually it wasn't lazy, but I just bang out of it. But then that video started getting huge views. Like, I could be the king of e-bikes.
Yep.
And so from there, let's say that people aren't willing to send you a bike. So from there, I went to the e-bike show down in Long Beach, and I rode 10 or 15 different e-bikes, and I just made little videos with those, and then tried to get those to optimize and do well. And those didn't do great, but I made a couple $100 off of one of them, where the guy gave me an affiliate code. So overall, it was a trip to Long Beach. I got to ride all the bikes, kind of see what the competition was like. So now I have a feel for what's a good e-bike and a bad e-bike.
More input for those reviews, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people want to do something like this, like starting a YouTube channel or have some kind of online presence. What do you think? And I'm sure I know that they ask you about that. What is like your biggest piece of advice to people that want to start something like this?
Well, I mean, when you were little kids, I always told you make 100 videos. Well, I mean, find out what you like, what you want to do. I was telling one of your friends last night, just do something.
Yeah.
That's how you start. You do something, and keep doing it over and over. Because the majority of my videos don't get a lot of views, but I just keep doing stuff. And some of them, a lot of them, 6 months later, will get, all of a sudden they'll spike. And it just takes that long for them to get into the matrix where people find them. So, I mean, it's basic motivational speaker stuff, right? Do it, and then do it again. Do it again. Be a doer. Yes.
Yeah,
Don't
be a don'ter.
Don't be a don'ter. Right.
Yeah. So you think the main thing, because I mean, I see sometimes people will start too, but people will only do 1 or 2 things.
Yeah.
And then what do you think stops them? It's just.
What do they call it? Analysis paralysis. Whether they're. I mean, I being busy, having a job, having a kid, and doing all that other stuff, I didn't really have time to obsess over it. But a lot of people will create something. Like, why is nobody watching? I'm going to switch up all the keywords. I'm going to switch them again. I remember one of your friends, we made him a video. I used to make a hit video for each kid. And he makes a video, and I'm like, I'm going to write all the terms in here, and it's going to be a hit. That was Jack doing a jump in the front yard. And it works. It's a huge hit. And then he keeps monkeying around with all the keywords and changing everything until just YouTube's like, no, this is a robot. This guy will get no more views from us. So you just don't want to obsess over one particular thing. And you also, you want to make sure you're putting something out there that people would like if you can find it. The hardest part is making something good. And then the second, almost as hard part is getting people to watch it. Getting it suggested to people. So that's where the SEO comes in. Just not even how you keyword it, but what are people trying to learn?
Yeah.
There's tools for that. You use them. I really don't. I should, but I don't. But I know there's tools where you can look up what people are searching for.
Yeah. I used to use a lot of keyword tools that would tell you, you could look up a search term. I was actually trying to do it for this video, but my subscription expired. You can basically look up a term, and then it'll show you like the search volume and then related terms. So that's a really good way to find out like what people want to know. I love Think Media. They have a great channel like that's all about this. So you think the biggest things are just finding out what people want to know, like getting in their head, thinking about what they want, and then you said also just like building that consistency, right?
Yeah. And it's really different if you're trying to be a personality too. I mean, if it's a personality, then you have to do things people like, and you have to consistently put stuff out. And then, that's where I can take a couple of weeks off and then, put 5 motorcycle videos out. And then I'm going to the car show next week. I'm going to be doing car videos. But there's nothing, with me, people aren't expecting anything. But if you're a personality type of character and they want you to talk about what's happening in the news, and then you're not there for a month or a week. Remember there was what was it called? There's all these like YouTube events, like YouTube creator crisis or creator burnout. Remember the YouTube? There was a YouTube creator burnout year where everybody was so burnt out. They all made videos like, "This is why I'm burnt out," and everybody would make like a month's worth of either I'm taking a break or let me just talk about.
Or like there was also a time when everyone was like, I'm being shadow banned, but everyone was saying it because no one was watching the videos.
Yep.
That was funny too. I remember that.
That's something that I hope somebody documents. It's just the history, like the history of all that kind of crazy stuff in YouTube. Like with the Adpocalypse was, I don't know, was it PewDiePie? Someone
said something.
Somebody did something terrible in a video that was sponsored by mainstream sponsors, and then all the mainstreams like Coke and Pepsi and all them are like, we're not sponsoring YouTube, period. And so the ad revenues just bottomed out, and that was real for a guy like me. For anybody who was making money on YouTube, it dropped in half or more. And then during that time, I thought, well, I'm just going to make nonsense, and so I did some comedy videos in there, like I did the Turbo Whistle videos and some of just mukbang and just stupid stuff, and those got huge numbers. So that, for me, that was an actual, like, it was a bad event, but it was good because I thought, well, I'm not making money, I'm just going to get silly. And so I got silly, and then people like that, and so I will now throw jokes into serious videos, and I started putting more humor into every possible video, just throwing some silly thing out there. You know, just like one of my car repair videos, like this takes 10 minutes if you're smart, or 20 minutes if you're stupid. And like, so many people are like, oh, I must be stupid. It took me 25. and it's, you know, just throwing something like that in there to take them in a different direction while they're also learning something. So you're kind of stimulating two different things at once.
Yep, drive that engagement, right?
Exactly.
You're talking about like the SEO stuff. What is the biggest thing that you like observed that helps videos get traction in terms of like, you know, titling, keywords, like all that stuff? What would you say?
I don't know. That's really hard to know. I mean, my basic philosophy, you know, on here or on websites was always put it into a human readable paragraph. Because like the old school algorithm was always like, you pick your 3 or 5 keywords, whatever your keywords are, you know, bicycle, repair, hub motor, Bafang, 500 watt, and then
say them.
20% of the words in that paragraph should be one of those terms, and repeat each one X number of times. But I know that, you know, YouTube looks for people using an exact formula, so usually I'll just write a long paragraph about it, and then I don't know if timestamps. You have told me to use timestamps.
Yeah.
So I started. That's where you just put like 1 minute 27 test ride, 1 minute 40. You know, the bicycle seat. You know, 1 minute 60 the luggage, and where you type that into the description, and then it tells, and then those little dots appear on your video, so people can skip to different parts. That I think makes YouTube think that you're better off. But sometimes I'll do that, nothing is good, and sometimes I'll do that. I mean, I don't get any views, and sometimes I do. So it's impossible to read because this is a job for people now, and same with Google, regular Google.
Yeah.
Anytime people crack the algorithm or start to figure it out, the value of their service goes down because it's a bunch of spammers at the top. And so they're constantly changing the algorithm. So I just try to be honest with it.
Right.
Write a human paragraph, and then, you know, hopefully get some good people. I don't really solicit comments. I mean, they always talk about, like, anybody who's watched a YouTube video, what do you think about this? How do you feel about talking to my dad today?
Yeah. And the reason that they say that is because then their video gets suggested more if it has more engagement.
Right. So
they don't really care what you think. No, maybe they do. I'm just kidding. But.
Right. Well, that's the thing. I always try to answer all my comments too. When, you know, I'll go through every couple of days and just go through all the comments and answer any one that is a question. But right, YouTube ranks your video by how many thumbs ups or thumbs downs, and thumbs downs can still help you get better ranking because it's called engagement. So if you get people to thumb you up or thumb you down or saying something is big. So that's why you always like, what color sweater are you wearing today? You know, a lot of them are just these stupid generic things that
Yeah, I will say, I think it definitely does make a difference.
Yeah.
Like if you remember that one video with Scott, the How to Wheelie video, and then there was a James Roundwood and that other guy, and there was that thread of like 100 comments, these two guys fighting over nothing.
Like little middle school kids talking about killing each other and making fun of each other's moms, and it went on for like 1,000 comments.
And that video did great.
It's still a huge hit.
Yeah, it's still a huge hit. So I don't know. I mean, I think there is something to it, but I think as the search engines get better and better, like I kind of read a book about this a couple years ago too, and at the end of the day, you just have to make better content because like as the search engine improves, like that's what it's just rewarding content. It's not really rewarding, you know, like one thing or another thing. It's just like
it's trying to do what a person would do, which is, oh hey, this sucks, or hey, this is helpful. And the people give it some feedback, but whatever the AI robot part of it is trying to do the same thing. It's trying to figure out, hey, is this useful to people? And do they, you know, how long do they watch? Are they clicking on ads? Is it advertising related content? Like that's another great point that we realized pretty early on. I was doing cars and trucks and stuff videos, and you were doing bikes, and like it's like a quarter or a tenth of the money off a bike video with the same views as a car video. Like car videos make way more money.
Right. And you have to think of it from the perspective of, this is a great thing, I didn't even think to bring this up, but you have to think from the perspective of an advertiser wanting to buy ads on your video. If you're advertising for BMX bikes, you're advertising to kids that have no money.
Yep.
If you're advertising to people that are fixing cars, they're going to have a lot more budget for you to, take if you're an advertiser, and so you're going to bid higher on those ads. And that's something that I didn't think about for a long time. And then when I kind of learned that, I think it definitely bummed me out. Felt like I was in the wrong market.
Oh, you were angry. Yeah, bikes. I told you that from early on. But you were too young to have a car. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, if like my how to replace a starter motor in a Chevy truck video, everybody who's watching that needs a starter motor.
Yep. Great,
So
great market.
I mean that's a couple $100 part, and so O'Reilly auto parts. Ow! Yeah. So that there's a built-in advertiser for that.
Yeah. Yeah, something I almost completely forgot about that, but that's cool you brought it up. You know, your YouTube channel spans a wide array of topics. I was wondering what is the most bizarre, or some of the most bizarre subcultures you've come across, because I think I could remember a few, but I was wondering if any came to mind.
Oh yeah, well that first video, the kickstarting the motorcycle video, I get this.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I get the direct message from some guy in Holland. His YouTube channel is Dutch Cranker. So if he's still on there,
Cranker.
Dutch Cranker. And so he's like, "Hey, do you get any kind of excitement from starting the motorcycle? He. And like, I'm texting, I'm emailing back. I'm like, "Wait, are you guys using this for porn?" He's like, "Yes, I'm a silly European. I like this. I like when they kick the motorcycle." And I'm like, "Wow, really? Seriously?" And because I've made a couple of other Kickstart videos, and I wonder if that's why they're popular. And then you go to his Dutch Cranker channel, and it's like it's like a waist down shot of a guy sitting in a car, and the car won't start. He's wearing leather pants, and then he must have somebody under the hood that plugs the spark plug back in at some point. So it's like for 3 minutes, and that's and that's what this guy does for a living.
Yeah.
Probably for fun. I don't know how monetizable that is. But.
Yeah, I mean, well, also one thing I'll bring up, we live in Southern California, so we wear flip-flops a lot. I think you were not wearing shoes in that video, right? Wasn't that a big thing? Like,
yeah, I was kickstarting it in flip-flop. Well, there's one guy, every time I would show my feet, he's like, "Oh my God, there's the feet. There they are." yeah, there's definitely feet guys.
Yeah, but those are different, so it's a separate thing.
I always thought feet people were into good-looking feet or specific feet, but like there's big ugly feet people. Like just big, like, here, look. I mean, that's not pretty.
Well, they're back again. Yeah, so that's good. Are there any other ones that come to mind? That's probably I don't know if it's much weirder than that.
Not really, no. Everything else is pretty straightforward. It's just, car, truck.
And jealous e-bikers.
And then how to cook rice in a thermos, I did, and I didn't even on my prepper stuff. I did some prepper stuff with a solar panel and a battery, and using solar energy to cook rice and cook chicken, and I didn't even get any weird, crazy comments on that.
They're all on Rumble.
Yeah.
They're not on YouTube anymore. What do you think is like the biggest mistake that you've made in your YouTube, or something that people wouldn't anticipate or know about when they start?
I think definitely that adpocalypse example. Thinking that something temporary is permanent. I mean, we saw that with the COVID lockdowns. I can't say that on YouTube. Well, whenever there's a temporary thing, people think it's permanent. So Pepsi's never going to advertise on YouTube again. Nobody is. And there's no way. They're the biggest advertising company in the world. You Google /YouTube. They're going to fix it. So me thinking it's pointless to make videos because I can't make money on them anymore. Or me thinking I'm just going to do nonsense videos because there's no money left. There's market cycles, but thinking something temporary is permanent. And then that's also why a lot of people quit. Like I remember these guys made a video. It was like they took Donald Trump speeches, and then they had a guy acting drunk sitting on a porch, like just lip syncing to the stuff that Donald Trump said, and they had all this bizarre stuff like Donald Trump is your drunk uncle was what it was called, and so it was really funny, and it got millions of views, and then nothing else they did really hit. I haven't looked at them in 5 or 10 years or whatever. It's been years, but I was kind of watching their channel, like, okay, these guys had this huge hit video, and you see the production value go up in their videos, and you see them have good-looking actresses in there with them, and like they're trying. They're like, okay, this is our opportunity to be famous, and then they don't get famous. So that's the other mistake is if you stop having hits, you blame the algorithm, you blame the shadow banning. Sometimes it's just you, or it's just nobody out there wants what you're doing.
Yeah. And
so you can change your approach, but if you quit, and a lot of people quit, you see them just kind of. And so sometimes success is your worst enemy if it's early on.
Yeah, so that's like kind of going back to the consistency thing.
Well, that's actually, if you look at my e-bike videos, the recent ones, It's been probably, 5 or 6 months since they started sending me bikes and doing bike. And the first one got 650,000 views in no time. And then all the other ones are just flatlining. So
Yeah.
what did I do right?
They're like, what the hell are you doing now?
What did I do? Right, and then the guy sends me the new fancy e-bike. He's like, what are you doing? 5,000 views is nothing. No, he doesn't do that. He doesn't do that. But
Mofo.
yeah, that's one of his favorite words. He loves that word. These mofos. Yeah, so I guess.
But you don't let it stop you.
No, I just keep grinding. And the
Keep
fact
on
is,
keeping on.
if 5,000 people watch my video and 100 people buy a bike, that's great. If 650,000 people watch my video and nobody buys a bike, that's not great.
Yeah.
So it's if you look at it as marketing, if it's targeted, it doesn't have to have huge numbers. And then, except for my advertising purposes, for advertising revenue, you need the views.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's the thing that's kind of discouraging. When people start getting huge views, you don't get huge money. I mean, it takes a lot.
Can you say a little more?
I'd have to look at one of my actual videos, but something like 1 million views could be
yeah.
$1,000.
Yeah.
Whereas you think 1 million people watch this and I only got $1,000.
Right. Yeah, that's another thing. I think people don't understand that.
Yeah, because you've got videos with millions of views, and if you look at the accumulated money, you're like, I got 1 million people to spend whatever it is, 1 million minutes on average watching something, and I got $1,000.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be discouraging.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, you have to remember the long-term vision, but it definitely feels like on YouTube, you have to do more to make not very much money. If you think about like what network TV has and like the views that you get compared to that, you're not making anywhere near that kind of money. But
no, right, and I beat CNN every night with my videos. Every night, and
Yeah.
I don't make that kind of money.
but you're one man.
Where's my suit?
I mean, yeah, you should really still be proud of that.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I know that it used to be back in the day. It was like $1 per 1,000 views. Do you know what it is now? Is it still? I mean, and also, of course, this depends on.
It really
the
depends on the
market.
content.
Yeah,
a lot. Sometimes a video get 1,000 views, and it'll be like $25. Or let's see. Actually, I just did the. I've been watching the Honda. I went to the Honda headquarters and I did a video about their little suitcase scooter, the Moto Compacto. It's like a 40-pound suitcase, and then it's got wheels on it, and you can ride the suitcase around. And that one, like 7,000 views, is like $29 on that one. So that's a recent example of something that I did where, it's pretty good money for 7,000 views, I think.
Right. Yeah, and I would imagine like some of that stuff, like the e-bike stuff too. There's a lot of competition, and it's a very expensive product, so I'd imagine there's a lot of advertising as well on that.
Yeah, and then this particular one's a Honda, so they're probably, it's probably getting Honda to advertise on it. I would expect.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good. I'm glad we brought that up. I forgot about that aspect of YouTube. I also wanted to touch on like one thing I always did in my videos back in the day is music. Music is really dangerous if you're trying to make money. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Because you have more experience even than me. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I would always lecture them like, don't use real music because they'll strike your channel. And I mean, they generally the rule is the artist gets all the money, you get no money. There were a few. There was, I think, Madonna, Prince, the Eagles. There was a short list of bands that would have them take a channel down. Like when Prince died, everybody made Prince tribute videos, and all their channels got hard strikes or got taken down because he was a guy who didn't want anybody using his music. So, but even with copyright-free music that you think is copyright-free, if you don't get it directly from YouTube, I did that. I bought some from a guy. I sent him some money. Well, it was like a volunteer basis. His name's Kevin McLeod. And way early on in YouTube, he's like, hey, I got this website full of music. PayPal me some money to this email address if you find it useful. Use it on your videos. It's copyright free. So I did. And then one of them got hit with a copyright strike on YouTube. And I think it probably sounded similar to something else. I don't think he would go copyright all his music, because that's definitely a sketch move you could do.
Yeah.
Is give everybody copyright free music and then wait a year and then copyright it and then run ads on it. Yeah. Like that would be we just give people a good bad idea. But YouTube has music you can download from them for free.
That's right.
He will tell you it sucks.
It sucks.
But I will tell you, I just want something in the background so you can't hear the refrigerator running and the airplane flying overhead and the crows. You know, just sometimes I'll use it just to make it sound less bad, whatever I'm doing. Or if there's no talking. There's one, the Fluffy Baby Duckies video, where it was like this song like na 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 na, and then I saw ducks at the park when we were at Alondra, and so I made this, and it's like punk rock, and I filmed the ducks, and then I used the YouTube music, but Fluffy Baby Duckies, yeah, duckies of death, and I did a Fluffy Baby Duckies punk. But generally, the music's not great.
Yeah, and one thing, like you said, I didn't realize for a long time, you know, I would have videos with music that I thought was copyright free, and then they blow up, and then it'd be like, oh, boom, copyright strike, no money.
Yep.
And you just want to be careful where you're sourcing your music, because a lot of times it'll go for a while. Like, it could go for like a couple months or a year without anybody striking it, and then it's just like, boom, done, no more money. It sucks when it's a hit. It really sucks.
Yeah, because I knew, well, I give them the parent lecture way ahead of time. Like,
yeah.
And you're like, oh, not if it's only 8 seconds.
Oh, yeah. That was one thing. Okay.
Not if it's not the first 30 minutes.
Okay.
30 seconds.
You used to be able to get away with it if you had under 30 seconds. So what I would do is I would just put songs I like. I would put 29 seconds, and then I would just fade it to a different song. So I'd have like 3 or 4 copyright songs in one video. But I got away with it for a long time, and then I didn't. So.
Well, that was the part of the dad lecture was like, you think that thing, the scraper's not going to come back over your video when it's bigger and smarter, and it can digest more than 30 seconds? It's coming back.
Yeah.
The music industry, you imagine how much money, if I ran the music industry,
the
I would pay YouTube.
Yeah.
I would bribe YouTube to scrape from any of my music every single day. I would send somebody to YouTube offices with bagels and donuts and suitcases full of cash.
Obvious, yeah.
Find me more advertising revenue. It's record industry's dying.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So they got you.
They got me. They definitely got me. I mean, I didn't do it in every video, but definitely something to look out for.
And the stuff that you download from YouTube, I've never had a problem with it.
Yeah, same.
That's clear. They know what it is. They've encoded it.
If you could go back in time to your younger self, maybe say like 20 or 25 years, what do you think is, what would you tell yourself? What would be some advice that you'd give?
Well, that's a good one. Relative to the whole YouTube concept, we were shooting on film. We were using projectors in the basement to, show our movies, but just to tell myself that this is coming. That's what you couldn't understand it because you were a little kid. Mm-hmm. What a powerful thing this connectedness is. And these tools like the iPad, iPhone, all that stuff, just the power compared to a kid in the 70s, what you could do to communicate stuff. Because I always wanted to, tell stories and make my own creations. I always wanted to make movies. We did it since I was a little kid. It was the thing we always did for fun, and we knew we could never do for money. And then when I came out here with my friends to Hollywood, one of them got a job as a special effects guy, mm-hmm. and then the other guy wanted to be an actor. A lot of people wanted to be actors. None of them ever made it. And then I didn't really know what I wanted to do because I didn't want, I thought about editing. I took editing classes, but you're basically just sitting there doing what other people are telling you to do.
Yeah.
To create your entire own production of something, it's not, it wasn't possible back then. So that would be the number one thing would be, hey, all this cool stuff is happening. You can just make your own story. Hey, I want to make a 2-minute video about a belt drive on a bicycle. Okay, do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like those barriers to entry being lowered now versus back in the day. I mean, I have to remind myself too, I'm shooting this on my phone. It's like most barriers that people have nowadays seem to be more mental barriers than actual, capability stopping them.
Yeah, that's what I was talking to one of your friends. I hope he's watching. Hit the like button. I'm not gonna say your name, I'm not outing you, but yeah, every time he's over here, he's like, I gotta get started on my YouTube channel, but I'm busy, or just I don't know what should I do. I'm like, just
do it.
Do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm here today.
Yeah.
Trying to get back to it, but yeah, it's just you just have to take the action, like you said,
and then the other advice I've given some of your friends like that. Well, that turbo whistle video. Yeah, that was one of your friends telling me. That got millions and millions of views on my turbo whistle videos. But I told him to do it on his channel. It's like it's not consistent with my brand. little junior high kids telling me about their brand. So the other thing is, you don't. Yeah. Especially when you're young. When you guys are in high school, junior high, you're sensitive to what people think about you. You're trying to establish an identity. So, don't box yourself into one thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's definitely hard. I mean, that is definitely counterculture advice, because everyone else tells you, every other YouTube channel out there says, or anyone that's trying to coach for that, they all say, oh, you need to do one thing, you need to be the backwards hat guy, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And like, I think to a certain extent, it depends on what you're trying to achieve. Because if you want to be a famous personality, or like famous for something, like people, like you said, people don't have all that stuff about you in their head. They just know when they need to know how to fix their iPhone that won't charge, your video comes up first.
Yep.
But no, I agree. And I think you have to experiment to find what you want to do. So you can't really find that unless you try things.
Yeah, and that's what's useful about people watching this is what I'm telling you is not what they tell you at YouTube. I've been to YouTube, and that's always the thing. Or they'll break out into groups, see with other creators. The guy's like, you know what's wrong with your channel? I mean, yeah, doesn't have a consistent identity and a consistent theme. It's just random stuff.
And then you're like, but look at these bags.
Yeah. Show me right, because now there's an app.
Yeah.
Because I remember these guys at one of the YouTube meetups. I was like, all right, well, hey, if you guys want to collaborate, we can do some stuff. We can do stuff, and they're like, old man. But they were just like everybody who wanted to be actors in the 90s that I met that didn't actually do anything.
Yep.
And I go, I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna look at their channel when I get home. I'm like, garbage. There was bad and nobody watched it.
And it probably wasn't very much, right? Probably like 2 videos.
Yeah. And then so that's an interesting energy. Is like back in the early Hollywood days, not even early, but for me, like coming out here in the 90s, everywhere you go, you'd meet everybody who wants to be an actor, and they have headshots and they have their reel, and they're always talking about being an actor, but none of them, the majority of them weren't actually doing it. Video cameras existed back then. You could shoot on videotape, you could make your own movie in your backyard, you could do all this stuff. We had one of the guys that moved out here with us. He was in film school in University of Colorado, because we were in Boulder, and he was a senior. And I was like, oh, cool, Richie, show me all your movies. He's like, oh, we haven't done movies yet. I'm like, what do you mean? You paid for 3 years of school, and you love film, and you're a film student, and you have a video camera, and you haven't done a movie? Yep. Yeah. And then so with him, we're like, well, let's make some movies, and we made some movies. We got Stan Brackage.
Be a doer.
Yeah, exactly. His teacher Stan Brackage gave us a A on our student film.
There you go.
Yeah, look up Stan Brackage. He made some weird movies. His movies were like a minute, and he would do them on Super 8, and he would take a pen and like glue bugs to the frames and scribble on it with a pen. Yeah, that guy. He was a visual artist. But
was it like stop motion, or was it just like cut in with real footage, or?
Yeah, it was like real. He'd shoot real footage of stuff and then scribble on it and glue moths to it. I think somebody did a documentary on it, but the point is, Richie was doing nothing, and we went from nothing to a influential filmmaker character liking our stuff. So it's just, do what you're gonna do.
Be a doer.
Be a doer.
All right, last question.
Mm-hmm.
Got this one from Big Brandon Carter, aka the Keto King. Abdominal assault. Love the videos.
White Boy Brian. Shout out to White Boy Brian.
Yeah, White Boy Brian. This video is gonna live forever. How do you want to be remembered?
I think it's a good statement. I mean, it's just everything that I've said. I think is good. I think the stuff I think about just as a parent is, hey, when I'm dead or gone or senile or whatever, you can go back and watch this stuff. And I imagine someday, and then when you have a kid that wants to ride a bike, you can get out those BMX videos,
yeah.
And you're like, here's me doing a wheelie. Like, whoa, we were fat.
Yeah.
Why are you wearing those ugly shoes? Like, no, don't focus on that. Look, focus on the bunny hop.
See, I used to be able to ride a bike.
What's a bike, Dad? Yeah. So it's. Well, how am I remembered? Like right now, this time of year, I made my How to Light the Pilot Light and your gas heater video gets big money and big views. So people will comment and they'll say, my landlord wasn't going to be here for 3 days to light this pilot light. You saved my life, stuff like that. So It's small pieces of kindness that you put out there.
Yeah.
That it's an invisible legacy because I'm never in front of the camera. I'm always behind the camera. Like none of my videos are about me. They're all about how to help somebody do something. So like if you imagine every little thing that I helped somebody with, or the thing you called me one time where you couldn't turn the steering wheel on the car.
Yeah.
Like, just because when you parked it, you were cranking on it and then you took the key out. But like there's people in snow states that are commenting on that video right now are like, oh my God, I thought I was going to be stuck in the snowstorm because the stupid key wouldn't turn.
Yeah.
And then they go on their phone and so that's it. It's like an invisible legacy of kindness. Same thing with when I ride my bike. If I see a nail, like I have my bike bag under the seat has this little extra pouch in the back, and if I see screws and nails, I'll pick them up and I'll put them in there so somebody doesn't get a flat tire. Now that's a legacy that nobody knows about. That's like a secret good deed. And then I've been down that same road with Dave Rowley. Oh, should I say his last name? Too late. So I've been down that same road with Dave, and he's had a flat tire from a screw that we didn't see. And I've been coming up that road, and I've had a flat tire from a nail that I didn't see. So even though I'm saving other people,
You're still waiting.
Well, God's still testing me, right? It's like, you missed one. Well, at least somebody else didn't run over that nail.
Well, it's nice now people can know about your secret missions,
Yeah.
put them in the light, so that's good.
So I don't know, if you just be nice, the world takes care of you.
It's good. Well, thank you for coming on. You're Hoohoohoblin.
Oh,
Everyone that wants to check out the channel.
There's a link, yep.
Anything else?
Comment, like, subscribe! Smash the MFing like button!
If you made it this far, thank you. Appreciate you. Do all that, and see you in the next one.
All right.